Hello everyone, welcome back to Technologies Discussion channel. For this video, I'd like to continue the discussion on satellite communication. This video, I will focus on the connectivity, which is the essential for any satellite communication system. In fact, there are three types of connectivity. The first one will be the point-to-point. Next will be the point-to-multiple-point. This will be like a broadcast. Last but not least, multi-point to point, which is the interactive connectivity. I'm going to discuss, for example, firstly, the definition. Next will be the characteristics, the application, and also the advantages and disadvantages of all these three connectivity for satellite communication system. Guys, this is my email. If you have any question regards on this discussion, please drop me an email. Okay? Or if not, I actually prefer you guys to ask me your question through the comment. Before I continue, I'd like to urge you guys to help me by like this video. Guys, it's free. Help me. Press the like button now. For those who are new to this channel, please help me to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell. Once again, thank you so much for your strong support. These are the three connectivity for satellite communication system. I will start with the point-to-point connectivity. Next will be the point-to-multiple point. As you can see from here, there is one transmitter and multiple receiver like a broadcast connectivity. Last but not least, multi-point to point, which is the interactive connectivity. Let's come to the definition for point-to-point connectivity. So therefore, from this diagram, you can see that this satellite in fact provide a dedicated communication path between one point to another point. So therefore, the name point-to-point connectivity. So from here, you can see that there will be only one transmitter and also one receiver. So this is the definition for point-to-point connectivity. Let's come to the characteristics. So as I mentioned earlier on, there will be only one transmitter. For example, this is the transmitter. They send a message to the uplink one. Okay, and also there will be only one receiver. As you can see that the satellite send a downlink to another Earth station and in order to establish point-to-point communication. So from here, you can see that it is actually a dedicated communication channel. The wide point-to-point connectivity. From here, you can see that basically they will provide a high security and privacy connectivity. Next, in terms of the bandwidth and latency, they will be able to control since there is only one transmitter and also one receiver. This is in fact suitable for continuous data transmission. So this is for the point-to-point. Let me come to the application for point-to-point connectivity. The first one will be the corporate wide area network connection. Let's take a look on this diagram to understand better. Let's say this is actually the HQ. This is actually the remote office with the satellite. In fact, they can provide a point-to-point connectivity for the HQ and also the remote office. So from here, you can see that these two places are joined with the help of this satellite. From here, you can also see the application for military communication, telemedicine, bank ATM networks, remote office connectivity, which I mentioned just now, the voice and video conferencing. Next, I like to focus on the advantages and disadvantages of point-to-point connectivity. First one will be the advantages. This, in fact, will have a secure communication since this is a dedicated path between the transmitter and the receiver. There is only one transmitter and one receiver. And from here, you can see that they, in fact, can also guarantee the bandwidth and provide a reliable connection. Next, you are going to have a lesser interference. Since this is a dedicated path, there won't be any competition from the rest of the Earth station. So hence, this will be the advantages for point-to-point connectivity. Let's come to the disadvantages. Okay, so this in fact can be very expensive for many users. because this is a dedicated resource and they may be underutilized. Let's say this HQ may not be continuous sending the data to the remote office, and therefore this is so-called the underutilized, and there is a limit in terms of the scalability. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of point-to-point connectivity for satellite communication. Next will be point to multiple point, like a broadcast connectivity. So from this diagram here, you can see that there is one transmitter and many receiver. For example, now is actually football season. Okay, so basically you can imagine that this transmitter at US, they basically broadcast the football match to all the different receiver. Let's say I'm actually in Singapore. I'm actually one of the receiver that received the message from the transmitter on the World Cup football session. So basically this is point to multiple point connectivity. Let's come to the characteristics. You can see that there is one source, which is the transmitter, and they actually serve many destinations with the same identical data. This, in fact, is the efficient use of satellite bandwidth. Typically, the receiver do not transmit back. As I give you that particular example, I only watch the World Cup football match, but I do not want to send anything back to the transmitter. So this is the point to multiple point broadcast connectivity. Coming to the application for point to multiple point, like a broadcast connectivity. Just now, I already emphasized on this example, satellite television. It can also for radio broadcast, weather information, dissemination, emergency alerts, software and firmware update, and last but not least, distant education. Next, let me explain the advantages and also the disadvantages of point to multiple point, like a broadcast connectivity for satellite communication. Let's come to the advantages first. This, in fact, will be cost effective for large audience. So basically, you can have multiple receiver, and this will be cost efficient. Next, efficient bandwidth utilized. So from here, you can see that there are one transmitter and many users. So therefore, it has a better utilization as compared to point. Next, wide geographical coverage. You can cover a huge area, and in fact, it only require a very simple receiver equipment. Next, let's come to the disadvantage. So there is no personalized communication. So as I mentioned earlier on, for point to point is a delicate, but for this case here, you can't personalize any form of communication. There are limit or no user interaction. Security may require encryption for restrict content. So this is actually for point to multiple point connectivity. Before I continue, guys, this is very important for me. I hope if you had learned something from this video, I hope you can support me by like this video. I also sincerely urge you to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell. Once again, thank you so much for strong support. The last connectivity for satellite communication, multi-point. So from here you can see that these are the multi-point to one point. So basically this will be like a interactive connectivity. Let's come to the definition. Multi-point to point connectivity enable multiple user. As you can see from here, these are the multiple user. They actually send data to a single central station like a hub through the satellite. So basically this is actually the satellite that provide the connectivity for this multiple user to the hub. It is commonly used in interactive or return link communication. Let's come to the characteristics. So from here, you can see that there are in fact multiple transmitter. These are the multiple transmitter. They basically communicate with one receiver. So this is the only receiver. This is often implemented using a star topology with a central hub. So basically, this is actually the central hub. You can imagine that this is actually like a star surrounding this hub here. They support user requests, monitoring, and also data collection. They can be combined with a broadcast downlink for a two-way service. Coming to the application, okay, so this can be like a VSAT network, as you can see from this diagram here. Okay, basically it can be a remote sensing monitoring like a IoT. So basically these are all the devices. You can imagine that they actually send to a gateway via this satellite communication path, multi-point to point connectivity. Next will be the smart utility metering. Okay, so again, you can imagine that these are all the meter. They basically send the usage through the satellite to a hub that basically collect all the data. Next will be the telemetry and SCA data system here, interactive e-learning and internet return channel. So these are the application for multi-point to point connectivity for satellite communication. Now, let me focus on the advantages and also the disadvantages of this type of connectivity. First, okay, on the advantages, this will be like a centralized management. It can be a efficient data collection because all the data will be collected at one point. So therefore, with this, you can have a very easy monitoring and also control. This, in fact, is scalable for many remote termination. Okay, you can add on more transmitter as you can see from here. Let's come to the disadvantages. Okay, the central hub can become a bottleneck. Okay, so basically this can be a big issue. Okay, because all the data will be sending over here, and this can become a bottleneck for this type of connectivity. Next, hub failure actually affects all connected user. Imagine the hub is actually down, then all the user cannot send the data to the hub. It actually requires scheduling to avoid transmission collusion. As I mentioned earlier on, okay, these are the many transmitter. You must have a form of scheduling. If not, they may be interfere and therefore the data will not be able to send to the hub. So this will be the multiple point to point, which is the interactive connectivity for satellite communication. Let me end this video with a comparison between these three types of connectivity: point to point, point to multiple point, and multiple point to point. Okay, so basically this is the communication path. This will be a dedicated one-to-one. This point to multiple point, you can see that one transmitter to many receiver, as you can see from here. Next will be many to one, many transmitter to one receiver. Let's come to the typical traffic. Okay, so as I mentioned that for point to point, this will be a dedicated data exchange because it requires secure guaranteed bandwidth, for example. So therefore, this is mainly for point to point communication. Next, one to many communication likely to be a broadcast. Next, multiple point to point. This will be like a data collection. Basically, they collect all the data at a hub. Coming to the bandwidth use, this will be dedicated, okay, because it's only just serving point to point, so therefore it will be a dedicated bandwidth use. Next, this can be the bandwidth can share efficient among the many receiver. Next, share with access control. Last but not least, I have also emphasized on the different application for this pre-connectivity. With this, I'd like to end my discussion. Please help me to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Once again, thank you so much for strong support. I hope to see you guys soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much.